I wanted to go into greater detail of what I did to put this entire solution together. So this does not only an automatic water change, a continuous automatic water change, I should say, saltwater mixing and RODI storage. Both of these are 200-gallon Norwesco vertical containers. These guys stand 6 feet tall, 30 inches in diameter. So far, so good. They've been great. They just do have some leftover contaminants from the manufacturing process, so I do always suggest cleaning these guys out when you first get them. It took me quite a while to get those down to being able to store 0 TDS water. So anyway, you're going to see the PVC piping that I have on these. Schedule 40 is fine. Spears ball valves on these, they operate fairly easily. They do have some positive lock for open or close. Haven't had any issues with leaking on any of this stuff. I've been really happy with these. I just got them at my local hardware store. Unions wherever you can. Makes for easy construction and easy breakaway in case if you have to, like me, correct some mistakes. I am not a professional plumber by trade, but I do take pride in trying to copy what professional plumbers do. You see, use a lot of valves on these, a lot of unions. This is the recirculation tube. Now this entire line that you see here is currently open. The saltwater side that you're going to see on this, I constantly leave open because every single night I recirculate the contents between 4 and 5 a.m., I should say in the morning. The other line for the RODI, when I need to be able to top off that liquid or the saltwater mix, is where I open up this guy here. But I only do that once I end up first turning on the Danner pump. That is Wi-Fi controlled by this switch, and I use a Wink smart home app as well as Hub to control that, set it up as a schedule, whatever, and I can do all that just from my phone. And the reason why I created that separate line is because I do not want my RODI contaminated at all. I do use this to provide drinking water, coffee, whatever else I want to be able to do. I want to keep that at 0 TDS all the time. So far, so good. I haven't made any mistakes with allowing any water to be able to get back in there. So the additional valves that I have down here just for filling up buckets, you see, fits under there pretty well. And that's just gravity fed. So I don't need to have a separate pump on those individual ones. As long as the water line stays above it, I'll be able to fill up buckets. And I do constantly keep my water at a fairly high level. As you can see right now, I'm just above 160 gallons in salt water. And somewhere over here, say about 187, 188 on the RODI. So the platform, this is a 2x4 framework. Plywood sits on top of that. I have the entire thing waterproof with deck paint that I was able to get, or deck stain at Home Depot. Further waterproofing measures, not allowing water to be able to get underneath this, using silicone caulk, even against the back wall. Same kind of solution. It had a nice bead on that in case if I have any standing water on this. That way it prevents it. The whole thing has worked out so far so good. I've only had this up for about the last month. Even built in a nice little handrail over here, help prevent against anybody trying to fall against this thing. PVC piping, breaking, I wanted to try to help prevent that. I do have other family members, some kids running around. So far, so good. Now, for that GHL unit, it's a little on the noisy side. If you listen to the last video, yes, it does make quite a bit of noise, but I do not hear it from where I'm at anywhere else in the house, even on the other side of this wall. It is loud, but it runs every 10 minutes. I would not recommend having this sit in like a sump inside your display. It might get annoying after a while, but out here in closed fish room, garage, or whatever, I think it's perfectly fine. I have no complaints other than it's a little bit noisy, but I really don't care if it was completely silent or not. Polyethylene tubes do fit on this. It's a 1/4 inch polyethylene tube. The interior diameter that fits over the nipples that you have on this thing, and a 0.17 on that polyethylene tube. So however that converts over to fractions for standard sizing. Connects into a 1/4 inch outside diameter push fitting, which on the other side of this I have a acrylic tube that I was able to pick up at Tap Plastics, and runs the length of this about 5.5 feet. Looks just like this. Acrylic tube, 1/4 inch diameter. I wanted a nice pickup of salt water on the inside of that container. I try to use polyethylene line. It always turned back into more or less a circle and just floated at the surface. So I wanted something a little bit more rigid. So far, that's been working great. It hasn't been clogging. And I do check on a nightly basis to make sure that everything inside my sump is working appropriately. That PVC piping, all the way up here to the top. Now, PVC does run about 4 feet on the interior here. Again, to recirculate the salt water, keep it oxygenated. You do have a breather here at the top of that 8-inch manway that they give you on this Norwesco unit. I also have a little bit of a hole on the inside of the bulkhead connector that you see here. Now, this is a Uniseal that fits pretty well on this. So I have a little hole drilled through this pipe on the inside here just to be able to break the siphon. Otherwise, that water would be flowing back in here. If I ended up breaking up any of these lines, it would make a mess. So just a little handy thing to be able to do. Make sure that you guys and gals remember that you're making siphon breaks on the inside of your PVC piping. Anyway, I think that pretty much kind of goes over it for the time being for those individual components, in case if you want to build anything like this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Always happy to help. Like what I'm doing for you guys, I watch other people's videos, watch pictures online, and I just try to make it my own.